The other thing that came out when Kevin Stefanski talked about, and I know you wrote an article about it, just about Deshaun Watson and him being ready. Take us through that, what you found, and just what Kevin had to say about that.
Yeah, so I talked to Watson as part of a small group in December, right before Christmas Eve, before that Houston game. He had an event, and he said, the shoulder's progressing. He wasn't ready to throw. He was still in a sling at the time. Now he's out of the sling. But he said everything was going well in the rehab from the broken shoulder. Watson didn't talk yesterday, so it was on Stefanski. And Stefanski said he's on schedule, if not ahead of schedule. Expects him to be rolling, in the offseason. Expects him to be ready to roll in the spring. And, whether that's at the start of the offseason program or OTAs or minicamp, at some point he expects him to be back on the field and throwing in part of practice for the Browns. It's scary, right? It's a broken bone in your throwing shoulder. We need to see how he recovers from that. It's not a common injury for a quarterback in the league. So I understand there's doubts there. But Stefanski was almost overboard confident in Watson's ability to come back from this. And, he in fact said, I think he'll hit the ground, or I asked him, do you think he can hit the ground running, right? It's been so start and stop with Watson in his 2 years here. Now he's had this. When he comes back, do you think he can hit the ground running and it's not going to be a huge adjustment again? And he said, no doubt. And he went to the 4-1 record in games that he started and finished. He went to the second half of that Baltimore game, which he played with the broken bone in the shoulder and a high ankle sprain, as proof that Watson is ready to kind of take off and that the Browns can win with him as their quarterback.